Hi there, in this video I want to share with you two dreams I had about New York City being nuked. Now, I had both of these dreams in 2008. Hi there, in this video I want to share with you two dreams I had about New York City being nuked. Now, I had both of these dreams in 2018. One was in June, and then the second dream was in September of 2018. And I haven't shared these dreams with many people, but I thought I would share them with you because I think they're insightful and I think there's something that we could learn from them. But before I share with you my dreams, I want to make a quick disclaimer. So I would take these dreams with a grain of salt. I've taken them with a grain of salt, and I had the dreams. The dreams were real, but I recognize dreams can come from different sources. Also, even if this was a dream inspired of God, I could misinterpret a dream. So I just take it all with a grain of salt. And realize that a lot of dreams are symbolic. If you've had any dreams about New York City being attacked or nuked, I would love it if you could comment below in the comment section and share with us your experience. So let me go ahead and share with you my first dream. So back in June of 2018, if I remember correctly, my wife and I were trying to figure out where we wanted to live, and we were being very prayerful about it. And I had this vivid dream of, I was looking around this kind of suburb, maybe 20, 30 miles away from New York City in this beautiful neighborhood, green, big lawns, and off in the distance I saw a huge mushroom cloud coming from New York City and people running. It's kind of like I was a spectator, like I was there, but I kind of wasn't. But the feeling I got was that there was some sort of nuclear explosion. I didn't see any missiles or anything. I just saw a big mushroom cloud coming from New York City. That, in essence, was basically what my dream was about. Now, I had a second dream in September of 2018, and this one was kind of different. I was at a social gathering visiting some family, and there were these two guys that I somehow came across in the dream. They were both like in their early 20s, maybe young adult guys, and I think they might have been from a different country. Anyways, they ended up plotting a terrorist attack to detonate a nuke in New York City. Now, the thing I thought was interesting, the rhetoric that they were using was that they were going to nuke New York City for a good cause. Like, they're going to do something terribly evil and destructive, but in the name of good. Like, the idea that detonate a nuke in New York City. Now, the thing I thought was interesting, the rhetoric that they were using was that they were going to nuke New York City for a good cause. Like, they're going to do something terribly evil and destructive, but in the name of good. Like, the idea for a good cause. Like, they're going to do something terribly evil and destructive, but in the name of good. Like, the idea that, like, America and New York City had digressed to such a point that it was kind of representative of evil Babylon, so to speak, and that they were going to, like, kind of enforce God's punishment on the United States. Such a point that it was kind of representative of evil Babylon, so to speak, and that they were going to, like, kind of enforce God's punishment on the United States or something like that.
I am in a customer's home. I work for myself. So the dream starts out, I am in a customer's home. I work for myself, and I'm in a customer's home. Everything's normal. The customer is coming out of the kitchen, and for some reason I was in her house to check something, and all of a sudden, in my heart, I felt like I needed to go look off of her back porch. So I go to her back porch, and off in the distance, I see this little object moving towards me. And it looked like it was going slow at first, but then all of a sudden it started to get bigger. And as it got close, I realized it was a huge missile. I mean, this thing went slow at first, but then all of a sudden it started to get bigger. And as it got close, I realized it was a huge missile. I mean, this thing was massive. But what I noticed was it was only 200 yards in the air, so it was real low, and when it went over the home, it just rocked the home. I mean, it was so freaking loud that I covered my ears. I was like, God, I was even in pain. I look at the woman, and she is crying. She's like, oh my God, what is that? And she's like, whoa, is it war? Is it war or something like that? And I said, it's going to be okay. And what I said to her in my dream has stayed with me. I said, it's okay. We're going home. We're going home soon. So I kind of touched her on the shoulder, and I said, I'll be right back. And I went to the other side of the house to track this missile to see where it was going. And I see it hit like a half a mile away. And this thing hit, and the explosion, I will never forget. It was a tidal wave of fire. This wall of fire is just eating homes, like, shom, shom, shom. And it's coming towards me. And I wasn't afraid. I'll never forget. It was a tidal wave of fire. This wall of fire is just eating homes, like, shom, shom, shom. And it's coming towards me. And I wasn't afraid. I was not afraid. I stood fire. This wall of fire is just eating homes, like, shom, shom, shom. And it's coming towards me. And I wasn't afraid. I was not afraid. I stood there, I remember telling the customer, listen, I love you, and we started to pray. We started to pray, and I was like, Father, take us into your arms. I'm ready to come home. I even said, Father, forgive me. I repent of everything. I'm ready to come home. I'm not looking back. I can't wait to see you. And we were both praying, and so she's kind of by me, and I'm looking out the window while we're praying. And right before the fire hits the home, I wake up. I mean, it was right at the window. And literally, I almost could feel the heat in the dream. I've had vivid dreams. Right before the fire hits the home, I wake up. I mean, it was right at the window. And literally, I almost could feel the heat in the dream.
This is the book of Acts 2, and we're going to start at 17, and it reads, And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Most High, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaids I'll pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show wonders in the heavens above, and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of Yahweh, of the day of the Lord, come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the Lord shall be saved. I want to say all praises and glory goes to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations unto the elect men feeding the sheep of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai in sincerity and in truth with this great gospel that's coming out of our Bible. That's coming out of our Bible, and people are seeing visions of what things that the Bible is speaking of, right? Nuclear destruction, thermonuclear destruction, right? As the man said, he felt the heat from his dreams. He felt the heat from his dreams. One dude, he had one dream, and the Lord hit his ass with another dream. Back to back, right? It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days, the times that we're in, saith the Most High, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, right? You got all types of nations, different people seeing what visions of the end of America, visions of World War III, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, right? Death, destruction, despair, right? And it says, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, right? We got prophets out on the highways and byways. We got people seeing vision, right? Really, the vision that you need to see is the visions of the prophets, right? Because it says, where there's no vision, the people perish. And your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaids I will pour out those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy, right? And I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood, fire. You just had a bunch of blood moons, right? Around the time of the C1 Nizzle. Before the C1 Nizzle, right? Everything was leading to what? Something bad is coming, right? That's what it was in the air. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the and moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. And that whosoever is speaking about Israelites. You got to be an Israelite to call on the name of the Lord. And that means your bloodline got to go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And how do you know who's who? It says, the Spirit beareth witness that we are the children of the Most High. Right? Because we fit the prophecies. We fit the curses. We fit everything that links up with the people of the Bible that will be in captivity at the end of days. Right? So guess what? We're in the time of the awakening, and we're also at the time of what? Destruction. Right? Even a fucking AI could predict what's coming, right? Right? These simulated programs these Edomites done put together, right? Everything in the Edomites' mind is what? The end of this society. The end of this society. When they show you these futures in a movie, right? What do you see? A dystopia of what? No trees, a bunch of dead people, robots walking around, some Star Wars retarded shit. They living off Earth in different places, right? That's madness, right? Esau, Edom, the kingdom of heaven gonna be here on earth, but the Lord's gonna allow his men, the Israelites, to travel to other planets. Right, that's why these devils is finding different galaxies, different solar systems every fucking other month. Right? Because the Lord, when he said, I go to prepare a place for you. Right? And guess what? Pretty soon we're going to be able to travel to different places. But first, we got to see the judgment upon this place. And you see it says AI predicts World War III. And look at the place that's fully nuked. It's America. It's America, Babylon the fucking Great. It says AI predicts World War III, and we know in World War III, this is where Babylon the Great, America falls. Right? This is where America falls and not to be brought back ever again. Right? Because it's time for judgment of ungodly men. Right? The perdition of ungodly men, and where's the most ungodly men at? Here in Babylon the Great. Right, this is Esau, Edom's stronghold. This is also the military might of these Edomites. Right, that's why the scriptures speak about the mighty men of Babylon and born to fight. They have remained in their holds because this was the strength for military might. But now they know what's coming. They know what's coming. It's called judgment for everything they have done. The scripture says, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Right, America invaded other people's lands. They're being invaded right now. America started conflict in other people's countries. Now you got China putting money into different politicians' pockets, different countries. You seen the mayor of New York? They said he was doing business with Jordan, Syria, some kind of fucking country up there in the Middle East. Right. So you got special interests. How can we say tampering with American politics? Right. Just like Americans used to tamper with other people's politics in other countries. Right. It says, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire. Reserved unto what? Unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men, right? These ungodly men, these wicked motherfuckers of this society, right? Who's been doing good for a mighty long time. They about to be burnt up in these cities, man. That's why that white boy, he's seen a vision of New York being burnt, right? New York, where you got your World Trade Center, where you got all the delegations from different countries coming to have summits and meetings, right? You got certain places in America, you know it's going to be nuked. Places like New York City, Washington, D.C., right? Fucking California, right? Different places like that. You know they're going to knock Florida clear the fuck off the map. They've been talking about knocking Florida off the map since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Right, it's finna be a Chinese missile crisis, a Persian missile crisis, a North Korean missile crisis. Right, India missile crisis, Pakistan, any motherfucking country that got a nuke finna unleash it on this whore called America, which is Babylon the Great. It's the book of Revelation 21:8. It says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers, right, and the sorcerers and the idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, which burneth with fire, and brimstone, which is the second death, right? Because the Lord said this place is not going to be destroyed with water as before. Right now it's going to be destroyed with what? Fire. Fire. And these are different spirits that the Lord is going to burn off the face of the earth, right? But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, right? You find all these spirits here in Babylon the Great. The fearful, the unbelieving, right? That atheist ass fucking spirit, and the abominable, that sodomite, sick, twisted spirit, and that murderous spirit, and whoremonger spirits, and sorcerers, idolaters, and liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is what? The second death, man. That's talking about that the fire, the nuclear destruction that's coming. And the Lord said he's also coming with fire, right? It says Luke 12:49, I am come to send fire on earth. And what will I, if it already be kindled? Because it's already going to be going down, right? These nations are already going to be at each other's throats, right? These cities are already going to be on fire. The Lord said, how long shall our people be lost until these cities be wasted without inhabitants and houses? Let's get that verse. I'm going to go to Revelation 6 and 10 first, and it reads, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell upon the earth? Right, I had to read this because what is the Lord coming back to do? He's really coming back for the judge these Edomites for the blood of the saints that they have spilled upon the earth. Right, even though it was our punishment for disobedience, but guess what? These people who did this to us, they're going to have to pay for that, right? So that's what the Lord is coming back to do, what? Judge the wicked. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell upon the earth? Not just Edom, all these nations, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. It's going to be fire on the earth. It's going to be nation against nation. It's going to be death. It's Isaiah 6 and 11. It says, then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitants, the houses without man, and the land be utterly destroyed. Right? Everything, it points to what? A destruction, right? A destruction, the end, right, of a country, which is Babylon the Great. A destruction of a people, which is the Edomites. And what? The coming of our Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and his son Yahushai, right? That's what Yahushai is coming to do, to what? Take over the earth, right? And what he said, he's going to share it with his brothers. As the scriptures speak about, if the earth was created for our sake, why do we not have an inheritance with it? Because what? We broke the laws and statutes. So now we got to deal with the what? Curses that you read about in Deuteronomy 28:15, right? And we're at the end of this punishment. That's the beautiful thing. We are at the end of our punishment. These devils, they about to start going through their punishment. It's the book of Malachi 4 verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, right? And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch, right? The Lord's about to take everything from these Edomites, and he's going to judge them with what? Fire. With fire. Revelation 18, and we're going to start at 5. It reads, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled unto her, double how much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow, right? That's why these devils, man, he said, I might take this dream with a grain of rice. Yeah, because they don't want to see the destruction. They don't want to see the end of America. But guess what? It's fucking coming. That's why you had 2 dreams back to back. Right? It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. What? She shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh, the Most High, who judgeth her, man. And that's what's coming to America, fire. It's the book of Zechariah 14 verse 12, and it reads, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Right? It reads, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. And they show you that in the movie Terminator 2 with Sarah Connor. She's holding onto the fence, and what happened to her? Her flesh consumed away while she stood on her feet. Right? It says, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes. And their tongues shall consume away in their mouths. What could do that? A nuclear fucking blast. Right? And read again. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouths. That's the future destruction. Right? That's the future destruction. That's why these devils is selling all their assets. They're fleeing, leaving America. They're preparing to go into bunkers, right? They're preparing to go into the holes of the rocks, right? To go hide from the destruction that's coming from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Shalom.